Right. So then welcome everyone to the mathematics seminar of the program Mission Kadoba, organized by the Muslim Majlis of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So I hope everyone are here to learn something new. Okay. So I request everyone, Puta, keep your mics muted as I told you earlier. Hari. So I'll give you a brief introduction on myself. I'm Arman Shalik. I'm a third year undergraduate of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, and my degree focuses on math statistics and computer science. Okay, right. So without further ado, we will move on to the session. Listen very. I hope everyone received the tute. So we'll start with the essay questions. Puta, essay questions or the essay paper is considered as the complex part in your syllabus. Okay, but Puta, the truth is, essay part is the area where we can easily score. Why? If you take short questions, scores allocated or is the marks allocated for the final answer. If you go for structured essay questions, marks allocated for the the precise answer. But in essay questions, not to the final answer, they are going to allocate total 10 marks. They are going to allocate marks for the steps that you are writing. So if you know the correct, if you know the correct writing workflow, if you can once you understand the question, and if you can represent it mathematical notations step by step, okay, so then you can secure more than 8 marks, 7 to 8 marks. If you want to get total 10 marks, the final answer should be correct. So but still more than 5 marks you can score from essay questions just because solving some steps. Even though you didn't get the very final answer, if you have completed the correct logical steps, then you will get marks. Okay, I will show in the middle of the session, I will show you the marking scheme also, 2022 and 2018 marking schemes. So you can see how they have allocated marks for each and every step. All right, listen very carefully. I will start with the second question. Okay, graphs question. After that, I will do the graphs question after the second question, after discussing the second question. Okay, right, listen. So every question, Puta, I'm going to give you the thinking pattern, how you have to think of the question and how you have to answer the question, Kineka. I'm going to teach you. This thinking pattern is not the answer. So I will write the thinking pattern in one color and final answer that you have to write on your answer script in another color. Right. Listen. So this question is from reducing balance method. For your reference, I have given some breakdowns to solve the reducing balance question. Okay, this one I'm going to read it out. Will directly read this question, understand it, and try to solve it. So if you understand these simple 6 steps, any reducing balance question can be solved. Any reducing balance question can be solved using these steps. Some of the students sometimes you might have combined these steps together and you can reduce the number of steps to 5 or number of steps to 3 steps. But I recommend you all to go with these 6 steps, so it will give you will do less errors. You will do less errors. So our main target is to score total 10 marks. So instead of going for a short method, I recommend you all to go with the breakdowns. If you're really sure about your simplifications, then you can reduce the number of steps by combining 2 or 3 steps together. Okay, right. So listen very carefully. Reducing balance question, okay, has a 50% chance to be in your essay paper. If they are not giving you a reducing balance question, definitely the question will be from compound interest plus the share market or a simple interest plus the share market. Okay, so if you have observed the past few years, past papers, 2022 past paper question was from interest and then share market. Okay, 2021 past paper was from reducing balance question. So this is 2021 question. All right. So 2022 was from share market and compound interest. So you are here, you might get a question from compound interest, you might get a question from reducing balance. So I will discuss the reducing balance question with you now. Right. They say that a television set, when you read the data, important data, make sure to highlight it. A television set can be purchased by making an initial payment of 8,000 rupees. Without this initial payment, in exam, they might refer it to as down payment also. down payment. So these are technical words, down payment of 8,000 rupees. So this is the amount they can pay initially and paying the remaining in installments. Right. They say that a television set which is sold outright. What is outright, Puta? What is outright? Outright means if you're paying the amount at once. Okay, if you're buying the full television set by paying the total amount at once. Okay, this is the amount that you should pay. This is the amount that you should pay without any delays, without any installments at once. If you are paying the total amount of that good, so this is what we call as outright price. So this outright price is the real price of, or is the marked price of the good, marked price of the item, right? So 80,000 is the worth of the item. From that 80,000, they can make a down payment of 8,000 rupees. They can make a down payment of 8,000 rupees. And paying the remaining balance, okay, from 80,000, if you pay 8,000, listen to my words very carefully. From 80,000, if you pay 8,000, remaining balance is Puta 72,000. So that remainder, that 72,000 is paid within 18 equal monthly installments. 18 equal monthly installments. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can drop the message in the chat box, Puta. I can see one student raise the hand. You can drop the message in the chat box. We just started the session, okay? Right. Here, an annual interest rate of 24%. Annual means, Puta, for 12 months. For 12 months. For 12 months, interest rate is 24%. Right. Puta, I'm receiving messages from students that they are unable to join. Puta, 100 participants filled. Okay, tell them, tell your friends to try in a while. If someone leaves, they can join. Okay, otherwise, in a day or two, Puta, you will get you can watch this one's recording, not in a day or two. I don't know how long it will take, Kila Puta. So you can get the recordings by contacting the organizing committee. Hurry. So, but those who joined today, please try to complete the work within the session itself. Okay. So 100 participants filled. So I'm receiving messages from the students that they are unable to join Kela. So they can go through the recordings later. Okay. So, or else they tell them to try within another 10 to 15 minutes, they might be able to join. Right. So interest rate is 24% is charged. Annual means put that for 12 months. Charged, and the interest is calculated on the reducing loan balance. Reducing loan balance. So you know how to calculate the interest in this case. How much is monthly installment that must be paid when a television set is purchased in this manner? Right. So Puta, we know the keywords. So there is an item. So I read the question with understanding. So I'm going to summarize it for my reference. So I don't have to go back to the question again and again and again to read it. So I'll use the blue color to do the summary. Yeah? So this is the television set, which is 80,000 rupees. I can pay a down payment of 8,000 rupees. So the balance is 72,000. This is the balance. This balance should be paid within 18 months. Okay, 18 months with 18 equal monthly installments with the annual interest rate 24%. This is the annual interest rate 24%. Hurry. So they're asking what should be the monthly installment when they are purchasing the television in this manner. So we have all the data here. We don't have to read the question again and again to solve the solve it. So if you have the summary, you can use the summary to solve the question. Listen very carefully. So I'm going to use 6 steps to solve this. So now use green color. Puta, you don't have to number them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kila. You don't have to number them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kila. It's for your reference. I'm writing now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hurry. The first step is to identify the balance that you should pay, which is 72,000. So quickly write 72,000 rupees. 72,000 rupees. Okay. I will send you the tutor in the chat box, Putak. Give me some time. Right. Step number two, calculate the installment installment with no interest. You can concisely write the sentences like this. You don't have to waste your time to write lengthy sentences like installment free, interest free monthly installment, or as installment without interest. So you can just write installment with no interest. If you are not paying any interest, Puta, this 72,000 rupees of loan balance or as the remaining amount should be paid within 18 equal monthly installments. So 72,000 divided by 18. 72,000 divided by 18 will give you 4,000 rupees. So if you are not paying any interest, Puta, 4,000 rupees is the amount that you should pay for a month. Okay, for a month. Now the third step, listen very carefully. Third step. Third step is to calculate the monthly interest rate. So some people do the third step and fourth step together, but I will do the third step separately and fourth step separately. Okay. Monthly interest rate. We know annual interest rate is 24%. Annual means for 12 months. For 12 months, if it is 24%, for 1 month, how it should be? Toffee කතාවක් ගන්නකො. So for 10, they say that 10 toffees equals to 20 rupees. If you want to calculate the value of price of one toffee, what you should do? 20 rupees divided by number of toffees 10, you will get the value of one toffee. Similarly, 24% is the annual interest rate. If you divide it by 12, you will get the monthly interest rate or as interest rate for a month, 2%. 2%, right? Now I'm going to calculate the interest per month unit. Listen carefully. Per month unit. In order to calculate this one, you're going to use the second step answer and third step answer. Interest-free monthly installment, or as the installment without the interest, multiplied by interest rate, or as monthly interest rate 2%. So this one will give you, these two zeros I can cancel with these two zeros, 80 rupees. 80 rupees. So this is the interest per month unit. Okay. So now I'm going to calculate the number of month units. To calculate this one, Puta, there is a formula. That formula you should remember. They won't give you this formula in exams. Okay. I will write the formula here, but in exams, you don't have to write the formula. You can directly substitute the values. Listen carefully. Number of installments divided by 2 times number of installments plus 1. Number of installments divided by 2 times number of installments plus 1. In this case, the number of installments is 18 divided by 2 multiplied by 18 plus 1. 18 plus 1. So 18 divided by 2 equals to 9. 9 times 19 is equals to 171. So 171 is the number of installments. Okay. Right. Now, Buddha, I'm going to calculate the total interest. Total interest. So this is the very last step that you have to follow. Right. Sixth step. How to calculate the total interest? We know interest per month unit, which is 80. We have the number of month units 171. If you multiply that, you will get 13,680. So the question is to calculate the monthly installment amount. Neither. Monthly installment amount. Wait, Ammar. Monthly installment amount. Puta, monthly installment amount is this one plus the interest that you should pay for a month. This is the amount that you should pay for sure. Interest you have to pay 4,000 rupees. Okay. But if you are paying an interest, it should be something greater than 4,000 rupees, right? So totally for 18 months, you're going to pay 13,680 rupees as the interest. So I'm going, after this step, you can do it in two ways. One is adding this total 13,680 rupees to the balance 72,000 rupees and dividing it by 18 to get the monthly installment. If not, directly divide this 13,680 by 18 to calculate the interest per installment. Interest per installment, how to take it? 13,680 divided by 18. It gives you 760 rupees. 760 rupees. So therefore monthly installment is equals to 760 plus this 4,000 rupees, 4,760. So this is the answer. So Puta, you can reduce the number of steps. I took time. I maintained a slow pace to do this question. Okay, because some of the students may not have any idea regarding the steps of reducing balance question. Okay, Puta. So if you have any doubts now, you can ask me through the chat box. If you all understood, you can confirm me through the chat box. And I will send you the tute. I already sent the tute. I will send you the tute once again in the chat box. Hari? So here, in exams, if you want, you can combine this third step and fourth step together, and you can do this fifth step directly. Okay? How it can be done? Listen very carefully. Huh? In exams, this third step, fourth step, and fifth steps together, you can write it. How do we do that? Listen carefully. Huh? In third step, what did we do? We calculated the monthly interest rate, no? So monthly interest rate 24%. We can write it as 24 over 100. 24% divided by 12 will give you the monthly interest rate. You see? 24%, I can write it as 24 over 100. Divided by 12 means actually multiplying by 1 over 12. So this gives you the monthly interest rate. So which is the third step. Huh? Now, I'm going to do the fourth step here. Interest per month unit. To calculate the interest per month unit, what did you do? Interest-free monthly installment multiply with the monthly interest rate. So here we have the monthly interest rate. If you multiply this one with 4,000, this one will give you the interest per month unit. Interest per month unit multiply with the number of month units, it will give you the total interest. So this one multiplied by how to take it? Number of installments divided by 2 plus 18 plus 1. Simply by doing like this, you can directly get the total interest at once. 3, 4, 5, and 6th step also together, you can write it like this. Now, monthly interest rate multiplied by interest-free installment will give you the total, interest per month unit multiplied by number of month units will give you the total interest. And this total interest divided by 18 will give you the interest per installment. That also you can do. Hari? Right. So Puta, right. I think this number of steps, I did that again. Okay. So if anyone joined late, Puta, you can go through later, you can go through the recordings. So there are questions where they don't give the percentage. What do we do then? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, here see. This fifth step, Puta, it's not a new thing. It's actually, I substituted the values to the formula. This formula is given in your syllabus. Huh? And this formula for your reference, if you go through the tute, in the tute also I gave you the formula here. Sorry, I forgot to type the formula. I will give you the formula now. Number of month units equals to number of installments divided by 2 times number of installments plus 1. What is this n? N equals to number of installments. It will they will give you within 12 equal monthly installments, with 10 equal monthly installments, with 18 equal monthly installments. They will tell you this number of installments is n. So this is the formula to calculate number of month units. So that's what I have done. What I have written here. I just substitute the values. Number of month units is a number of. I will send the tute in the chat box once again. Okay. So I sent the tute again, huh? Right. So before I move to the next question, everyone, can you please quickly confirm me through the chat box detail? Understood, clear, fine. I need individual responses, huh? Was it clear? Understood? Two. What about the others? Great. Okay. I recommend you all to go with this order, so it will be easy for you to get the, easy for you to score all the marks. Okay. So as I told you, you can combine this third step, fourth step, fifth step, and sixth step together and write it like this at once. So it will reduce the number of steps. But even though it reduces the number of steps, in exam situation, Puta, you are in an exam stress and you all are in a like some sort of a panic in a panic room you all are like are very terrified with the paper. At that moment, Puta, if you try to do all the steps together at once, you might do simplification errors. You might do simplification errors. I think after grade 5 scholarship, for some people, grade 8 scholarship. Okay, some international school students, they are doing grade 8 scholarship. No, some student for some student, this is the very first local public exam that you all are facing. So you don't know how the exam situation is. So definitely in exam day, on exam day, you will have a different mindset, different feeling. Hurry, in exam hall, it's a different feeling. So at that moment, we should be wise to collect our marks rather than going for a very short step. If you all are good in shortcuts and if you are very good in simplifications, then okay, you can go with the short method. But if not, I recommend you all to go with the breakdowns like this. At least if you have made a mistake in final answer, you will get 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark for each step that you have written here. Let's say you have written only one single step and your answer is incorrect. Then put a 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, then okay. So because that's why I'm saying that please go with the breakdowns. Okay, right. So we'll do a share market question. I think I sent the wrong tute then. I'll send you the correct tute. Sorry about it. Yeah, I sent you the wrong tute. In the correct tute. Right. So I sent the correct tute now in the chat box. Can you please check and let me know? So the previous tute is actually the last year's one. Right. Okay. Right. Question number 3. A businessman invested 600,000 rupees to buy shares in a company which pays an annual dividend of 5 rupees per share at the market price of 30 rupees per share. So when you read the questions like this, I recommend you all to highlight the important words. Okay, this is how we can effectively answer a question or easily within a limited time, within a short time period. If you want to quickly grab the data into your mind, I recommend you all to underline the important parts. Invested amount is always important. It's 600,000 rupees. To buy shares in a company which pays annual dividend 5 rupees. Dividend is an important word and the value of that is important. And then per share at the share market, price of 30 rupees per share. So he bought one share for 30 rupees. That's what they say here. at the end of a year, okay, at the end of the year, which means he is processing these shares only for 1 year. At the end of the year, after receiving the dividends, he sold all his shares. He sold all his shares. So here you put a question mark. Puta, they didn't tell you how, at what amount or for how much he sold one share kila. Is it 30 rupees or less than that, or is it 35 rupees? For how much he sold one share kila, they didn't give you. So here put a question mark and keep. Okay, here you can put a question mark like this and keep. Right. Now read the next part. Now what they say. He invested the total income. He invested the total income gained from the dividends and the sale of shares in a new company. Total income gained from the dividends and the sale of shares. So from the first company, if I write it in words, okay. So first company, this is my thinking. My thinking is this. From the first company, in the first company, he invests 600,000 rupees to buy shares at a price of 30 rupees each, which pays a 5 rupees dividend income. Okay, so this is what we call a summary. This is what we call the summary. And at the end of 1 year, after 1 year, he sell all his shares at some rupees, some value. I don't know for how much he sold. That's why I put a question mark here. That's why I put a question mark here. That question mark, I will take it as X. I don't know how much rupees he sold that. Maybe for 35 rupees, maybe for 25 rupees, maybe for 40 rupees. I don't know. So I will take that amount as X rupees. So this is the selling price of a share. Selling price of a share. All right. Now what we are going to do. Next summary. Next what they say. Now he invested after selling the shares and after receiving the dividend income. He invested this total amount in a second company, okay, second company to buy shares which is having 50 rupees per share market price. And it pays 6 rupees annual dividend income. It pays 6 rupees annual dividend income. From this investment, he gained an annual dividends income which is 20 rupees more than what he received in the previous one. Okay. So here the total dividend income I can calculate. Here the total dividend income I can calculate by calculating the total number of shares. Multiplying with the dividend income per share, you will get the total dividend income. So that dividend income vada. Okay, he earned 20 rupees more than that in this case. He received 20 rupees more than that in our second investment. Whatever the dividend income in the first company, okay, dividend income in the first company, more than that, 20,000 rupees more than that he earned in the second company from the dividend income, only from the dividend income, right? What he received from the previous investment. Find the selling price of a share in the first company. They are asking this X, right? So this summary I'm going to put into mathematical words. That's what we call problem solving. Listen now. First of all, what's the relationship? We know that whatever the dividend income that he received from the first company, if it is 50,000, he is receiving a dividend income from the second company, 20,000 rupees more than that. It should be 70,000. 50,000 plus 20,000. If he is receiving 90,000 in the first company, plus that 20,000, he is receiving 110,000 in second company. That's the basic idea. Now listen. I'm going to calculate the number of shares in the first company. I'm going to take the first company and I'm doing the calculation for first company. So how to calculate the first company number of shares, Puta? He invested 600,000 rupees and he's purchasing a share for 30 rupees each. So if you are divided by 30 rupees, it will give you the total number of shares. If you can't understand what I have done here, match this one with the toffee story. So let's say you buy some number of toffees. Listen carefully. You buy some number of toffees, and the total amount that you had to pay in order to buy the number of toffees is 20 rupees. You buy some number of toffees. We don't know how many toffees you bought. And but you had paid 20 rupees. And the Mudalali is saying that Puta, price of one toffee is 2 rupees kiyala. Price of one toffee is 2 rupees. Mudalali is saying that price of one toffee is 2 rupees. And you paid 20 rupees. If you want to calculate the number of toffees you bought, what you are going to do? Amount you paid, you are going to divide it by the price of one unit, no? Price of one toffee. So amount you paid is 600,000. You are going to divide it by the price of one toffee, which is 30 rupees. So this one will give you 0 and 0 I can cancel. 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. 6 divided by 3 equals to 2. He bought 20,000 shares. 20,000 shares. He bought 20,000 shares. Now I'm going to calculate the dividend income in the first company. Puta, he has 20,000 shares and dividend income per share is 5 rupees. So here's the summary. Why I recommend you all to do a summary. If you don't do the summary, again, when you do this calculation, you have to scroll up and you have to read the entire passage again and to find, you have to find the value of the dividend income per share in the first company. If it is, when it comes to second question, you have to read that again. So reading the whole passage again and again and again to grab the data is time consuming. So I recommend you all to do a summary like this. So you can quickly catch the point and just write it. So 20,000 multiplied by 5 will give you 100,000 rupees. So this is the dividend income from the first company. Now I'm going to calculate how much he earned by selling shares. Income by selling shares. Okay, listen carefully. We don't know for how much he sold. I'm going to take the selling price of a share as X. And he sold how many shares, Puta? Totally 20,000 shares. All his shares he's selling. So totally from selling shares, he earned 20,000 X rupees. This is not the capital gain. Nah? Don't get confused with capital gain. To calculate a capital gain, we don't know the selling price. Here I'm calculating the total income he's gaining by selling the shares. Total income he's gaining by selling the shares. That's what I have calculated here. Okay? Right. So if possible, after the class, can you share the edited PDF with the answers also? I will consider that request. But I can't promise you that one now because if I promise you that, you won't work in the class. Ehinda, so the possibility of sharing the written answer PDF is actually 5%. 95% of the time, I'm not going to share the written answers. So you have to focus and you have to take your own note throughout the session. Okay? So, but I consider that request. We'll see. Right. So I think someone's camera is open. Puta, can you please switch off your camera? Right. Thank you. Right. So if you go back to the question, they say that the total income you received from the company one or the first investment from the first company, okay, the total income you receive from the first company, which is the dividend income plus the total income by selling shares. Now this total income you are investing to buy shares from the second company. So you are investing how much? 100,000 rupees plus the total share income from the income by selling shares. So 100,000 plus 20,000 X will give you, we can't add that because this is an X term. So I will go to the second company now. Okay, I'm going to do the calculation under the second company now. Listen now. I'm going to calculate the investment. How much he invested? Total income gain from the first company, 100,000 dividend income plus 20,000 X rupees by selling the shares. This is a total investment. Puta, can you see I can take a 20,000 rupees as a common, 20,000 as a common factor outside. From 100,000, if I take 20,000, it will be 5 plus X. So X plus 5 times 20,000 is the simplified investment in terms of X. It can be it's a rupees amount, it's a currency, it's an amount, it's a value. We don't know this X value, so that's why I'm keeping it in terms of X, because we didn't know how much we saw the shares in the first company. And that's our final target also to calculate. Right. Now I'm going to calculate the number of shares he bought from the second company. Number of shares. How to calculate the number of shares, Puta? His investment divided by price of a share. Price of a share in the second company is 50 rupees. So I'm going to divide this with 50 rupees. Simplify, put that 20,000 divided by 50. Kiyada 4,000. 20,000 divided by 50. So, sorry, not 4,000, 400. 400. 5 plus X, you can write it as X plus 5 if you want. So this is the number of shares he has from the second company. Now I'm going to calculate the dividend income. Dividend income from the second company. In the second company, the dividend income per share is 6 rupees. If you multiply with the number of shares that you have in that company, you'll get the total dividend income. So dividend income per share is 6 rupees multiplied by 400 times X plus 5. So this one will give you 2,400 times X plus 5. So this is the total dividend income. Now come back to this part. Here see, they say that dividend income, whatever the dividend income you receive from the second company, is actually 20,000 rupees more than the amount you receive from the first company. So dividend income from the first company is 100,000. Neither 100,000. So I'm going to create a relationship, write the relationship. Amount you receive from the first company as the dividend income. 20,000 rupees more than that you are earning from the second company. So this is the dividend income from the second company. Dividend income from the second company. And if you observe this step, we have calculated the same dividend income in terms of X. Put from the same company for the same year, you cannot have two dividend incomes. The same dividend income, I'm calculating the real value and I have calculated the value in terms of X. So I can equal them. X plus 5. Now here we have 120,000. If I do a cross multiplication, it will be 2,004 divided by 2,400 equals to X plus 5. So 120,000 divided by 400, sorry, 2,400 will give you 50. This equals to X plus 5. Take 5 to the other side, minus 5. So X equals to 45. So what is this X, Puta? Selling price of a share in the first company. So you had write that sentence to keep the answer because X is a value that we introduced to the question. So we can't keep the answer in terms of X. You had write X equals to 45. Therefore, selling price of a share in first company is 45 rupees. You have to put the rupees unit, 45 rupees. So that's how you have to solve the question. If you have the qualitative idea in your mind, Puta, solving the question is not hard at all. Clear with that? Fine. Understood. Can you please confirm me through the chat box? I need individual responses, Puta. Super clear, confident. I need individual response with the confidence, Puta. Okay.
Teacher.
Yes, Puta.
I am not clear, teacher.
Which part? Which step?
Third part again.
Third part. You mean this part? This is step that I'm putting an arrow mark here. That one.
Yes, teacher. Yes,
okay.
teacher.
Right. So here, listen carefully. Listen. If you read the question, they say that income which is dividend income. Here, see, dividends income you are going to receive from the second company is great 20,000 rupees greater than whatever the amount you receive from the first company. Listen very carefully. Let's say from the first company you got a dividend income 100. You got a dividend income of 50,000 rupees. Harida, they are saying that's the dividend income from the first company. For an example, let's say 50,000 kila. They say that in the second company, if you receive a dividend income, it is 20,000 rupees more than that. So it should be 50,000 rupees plus another extra 20,000 rupees, no? So totally 70,000 rupees. So actually in this case, Puta, dividend income you receive from the first company is 100,000, 1 lakh. Harida, dividend income you receive from the second company should be 20,000 rupees more than that. So 100,000 if you receive from the first company, if in the second company, if you want to receive, if you have to receive 20,000 rupees more than that, now you have to add that 20,000 rupees and do the calculation. So this is the amount you receive from the first company. You are going to add that with 20,000 rupees extra. Why? They say that you earn 20,000 rupees extra in the second company than the first one. So this is the dividend income value, the real value. So what we have done here, through these set of steps, actually we calculated the dividend income in terms of X. So we know the dividend income's real value and dividend income, same dividend income in terms of X. Hare nikang, same girl wearing makeup and not wearing makeup again. Same person in two different appearances. But that doesn't change the fact that those two are equal. Kila. Dividend income's real value we know. And then dividend income's value in terms of X we know. Same dividend income. That's why I equal these two. So by solving this, you can calculate the value of X. What is X? Selling price of a share in the first company. Selling price of share in the first company. Abdul Rahim, are you clear with that, Puta, now?
Yes, teacher.
Right. What about the others? Any doubts? Any unclear part? I need individual
Yes,
responses,
sir.
Puta. Only 18 responded. You can send a text in the chat box. Huh?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, Puta, what is it?
Sir, from where did 5x come? 5 plus x.
It came from this one. No, it's factorization. From 100,000, I took 20,000 outside. So because 100,000 is 20,000 times 5. So if I take 20,000 inside, 5 remaining inside the bracket. If I take 20,000 outside from this one, X should remain inside the bracket. That's how this 5 plus 6 came. Hari?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I sent you a paper. Right. So we'll move to the next question now. So Buddha, this question is actually from equations part, quadratic equations part. Right. So some of the some students are there, they joined late and they are asking what paper is this? What are the lessons that we are going to cover? Anam manang kiyala Buddha. Everything I gave you the introduction in the beginning. Okay. So I can't go back to the beginning of the session and give you the introduction. What are the things we are going to discuss now? So I sent you the paper. Please go through the paper. You have the answer there. What are the things we are going to discuss here, Kayla? Hari? So we are basically focusing on essay paper questions. Right. I think I can see one student raise the hand. What's the problem? What's the doubt, Puta? Yeah, graph question I will do. Don't worry. Right. So in an isosceles triangle, so what is an isosceles triangle? Can someone unmute and tell me? What is an isosceles triangle? What is an isosceles triangle?
Two
Two
sides are
sides are
equal.
equal.
A triangle which has two sides equal. So I'm going to summarize the data like this. When you read from the beginnings, start to summarize from the beginning. So they say that there's an isosceles triangle. If it is an isosceles triangle, it has two equal sides. Length of the altitude. If anyone don't know the technical word altitude, okay, now learn. Altitude means Puta, the perpendicular drawn from the apex. This is apex. What is an apex? The vertex that joins the two equal sides of a triangle. The vertex that joins the two equal sides of a triangle, we call that an apex. From apex, if you draw a perpendicular line to the opposite side, this is what we call altitude. Okay, this is what we call altitude. And altitude length is given in terms of x minus 2. That is x minus 2. And base length is x plus 1. This base's length is x plus 1. Listen. Now again, they explain another plane figure. Length of a rectangle. We know what is a rectangle. If you don't know, Puta, you have to go for grade 5 classes now. Okay, length of a rectangle is given as 3x plus 2. Length of this rectangle is 3x plus 2. Units, and breadth is x units. Breadth x units. Breadth is x units. Right. Now, up to this point, we summarized it. Summarizing the next part is the tricky part. So I recommend everyone to keep their pens away. Okay, keep your pens away and listen to this very, very, very carefully. Don't lose your focus, sir. Don't lose your focus. Keep your pens away. Okay, drink some water, take a deep breath, and listen very carefully. They say that area of the rectangle is 11 square units. Why they have given the units in squares? Because in area, if you calculate, let's say you are measuring a length. What are the length measuring units? Centimeters, meters, kilometers. Those are length measuring units. What are the units that you measure area? Square centimeters, square meters, like that. So here they didn't mention what is the unit type, whether it's centimeters or meters. They have generally given it as units. So the area should be given in square units. If it is centimeters, square centimeters, like that. In this case, generally the units. Right. So they say that area of the rectangle is 11 square units more than the area of the triangle. So this sentence, you should be able to put that into mathematical notations. Okay. So what they say, area of this rectangle, here, area of the rectangle is 11 square units more than the area of the triangle. So if you know the area of the triangle, they say that rectangle's area is 11 units more than that. So rectangle's area is 11 units more than the area of the triangle. So rectangle's area is equals to area of the triangle plus 11. So this is the step that we have to use to solve this question, right? So I'm going to derive the equation now. Area of the rectangle. Area of rectangle is given by, what's the formula? How do we calculate the area of rectangle, Puta? How do you calculate the area of rectangle? What's the formula?
Length into breadth.
Length into breadth. Very good. Length into breadth. So 3x plus 2 is the length multiplied by breadth is x. You don't have to put the bracket. You can just write x. Right. So they said that this is equals to area of a triangle plus 11. What is the area of, how to calculate the area of a triangle? What's the formula?
Half into base into perpendicular height.
Half into base into perpendicular height. Base is x plus 1. Perpendicular height is x minus 2. This is the area of the triangle plus 11 will give you the area of the rectangle. So now by simplifying this, you have to properly plan the simplification, and you have to derive this equation. So that x satisfies you have to build this quadratic equation by simplifying this one. Okay. Now I'm going to do a set of simplification steps. Okay, listen carefully. I will do the simplification steps here. So we have 3x plus 2 multiplied by x equals to half times x plus 1 times x minus 2 plus 11. I'll simplify the left-hand side. X times 3x is 3x square. Now the work with thinking is done. Now just a set of simplifications I'm doing. So don't write with me. Listen carefully first. Don't write with me. Listen carefully first. So 3x times x will give you 3x square plus 2x plus 2 times x will give you plus 2x. Harida, this is equals to, I will keep the half as it is for the moment like this. Remove the brackets of these two. X times x, x square. X times minus 2x minus 2x. Plus 1 times x plus 1x. Plus 1 times minus 2 minus 2. Plus 11. This plus 11, you have to keep it to simplify at the end. We can't simplify that now. Now here we have 3x square plus 2x is equals to, inside the bracket simplify Puta, x square minus x minus 2 plus 11. Now I'm going to do another simplification. Listen very carefully. Having this 2 in the denominator is actually Puta annoying. Mara vadaya. Okay, Pallehang Eligino 2, number 2 is really annoying. So it's irritating. Oh, balang the simplifications karana hitenne. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that number 2. If it is in the denominator, which means it has a division. So if you want to remove this division 2, you should multiply each and every term in the expression with 2. So this is how we are going to do. 3x square, I'm going to multiply by 2 plus 2x multiplied by 2 is equals to half times this entire thing is a bracket, no? So no need to take 1 by 1. This entire thing multiplied by 2 plus 11 multiplied by 2. I wanted to remove this denominator 2, so I had to multiply that expression with the number 2. So, but in equations, you can't do only this one. You have to multiply each and every term. Keep that in mind. This is simplification, not quadratic equation simplification. Right. So this one will give you 6x square plus 4x is equals to this 2 and this 2 I can cancel. X square minus x minus 2 plus 22. Right? So I'm doing the simplifications very slowly. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Yeah. Right. So before I move do the further simplifications up to this point in this question, if you have any doubts, quickly ask me. If you're clear with this, confirm me through the chat box. I need individual responses. Quickly put that. Puta, Angaharu වලින් පාත් වෙනවා වගේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න එපා. I told you I wanted to remove this denominator 2. So to remove this denominator 2, I multiplied with 2. Harida. To remove this denominator 2, I multiplied with 2. But that multiplication cannot be done only for this expression. I have to do it for each and every term. So I can't do the multiplication on only on this part. So I have to do the multiplication to this one, and this one also, because it's a equation. That's why this 2 came in everywhere. So 3x times 2 will give 6x square. 2x times 2 will give 4x. This 2 and this 2 I can cancel. So only the bracket remaining, x square minus x minus 2. So 11 times 2 will give you 22. Hurry. Right. So now take all the terms to this left-hand side. 6x square. Listen now. 6x square. This plus x square, if I take it to the other side, it becomes minus x square. 6x square minus x square plus 4x. If I take this minus x to the other side, it becomes plus x. And then minus 2 plus 22 will give you plus 20. If I take it to the other side, it becomes minus 20. This is equals to 0. Focus. I can see some of the students having very lack of focus. Keep the focus, concentration, and do. 6x square minus x square is equals to 5x square. 4x plus 4x plus x will give you 5x minus 20 is equals to 0. So I can see there is a common factor in each term in this left-hand side expression. So what's that common term? What's the common factor? What's that
5.
common factor?
5. 5.
5 is the common factor. So I can take that common factor 5 outside. Good, da? So if I take 5 outside, x square minus x and plus x and minus 4. This equals to 0. Divide both sides by 5. So from this side, 5 will be removed. X square plus x minus 4. 0 divided by 5 equals to 0. So this is what they wanted us to prove. This is what they wanted us to prove. Okay. So satisfying a quadratic equation means what? Building up that quadratic equation. So how did we came up with this conclusion here? This one. They say that area of the rectangle is 11 units more than the area of the triangle. Students think that area of the rectangle is 11 units more than the area of the triangle. No, don't we have to add plus 11 here, Kiela? Nah, Puta, think it like this. Someone is saying, I will take randomly select a student from the class. Students la rename karangi dot double dot at a. Okay. So I will take randomly select a student. Afil, for an example. So Afil has a brother. Afil has a brother, and his mother is saying mother is saying to their relatives that Afil's brother's age is 2 years more than Afil's age. Afil's brother is 2 years more than Afil's brother's age. Listen, now. Afil's brother's age 2 years more than Afil's age. Does that mean you're going to add that 2 to Afil's age? Oh, sorry, Afil's brother's age. Nani? If Afil is 7 years old, if his brother is 2 years older than him, you're going to add that 2 to Afil's age. Then only you can calculate the brother's age, no? That's practical. Ne? You see? Afil's age is 7. Brother's age is 9. That's why we say brother's age is 2 units or is 2 years greater than Afil's age. So you actually 7 is Afil's age. You added that 2 to Afil's age. Similarly, area of the rectangle is some value. We don't know. Some value. That value is equals to whatever the triangle's area. Okay, here the rectangle's area, we don't know the value. That value, they say that it's 11 units greater than triangle's area. So you should add the 11 to this side. So it's a practical thinking. Okay, Puta. It's a practical thinking. Don't, that's the thing. In exams, you have to think practically. Those who memorize the formula method to solve the quadratic equation will get only 5 marks. Why? You can use the formula and simplify the quadratic equation given here. But the derivation of the quadratic equation part, they will be allocating another 5 marks, sometimes 6 to 7 marks. Okay, so you will lose all those marks if you don't know how to think. So thinking is really important. Okay, learn that. Learn that. So, and then the thinking after that, Puta, this simplification is basic, grade 9, grade 8 simplifications. Here the denominator 2 I wanted to remove. If you want to remove this denominator 2, this entire bracket means one single expression. Nah? If you wanted to remove this denominator 2, I have to multiply this term by 2. But the thing is, here we have plus sign, here we have plus sign, which makes both sides expressions. Then if you want to remove this denominator 2, you cannot just put the multiplication 2 to this one. That is incorrect. You are disturbing the equation. You can't disturb the equation by just putting the multiplication 2 here. You have to put that multiplication 2 on both sides. So this side also you have to put the multiplication 2. From this entire side, you have to put the multiplication 2. It's actually, you are going to multiply each and every term left-hand side by 2, each and every term on right-hand side also by 2, which gives you this step, which gives you this step. After that, just a set of normal simplifications. This is the, if anyone is getting confused, this is the only step. Students ask me how this 2 came here, Kila. This is the third time I explain it to you. Harida? Right. So the student rename with dot. Dot kiyanna balanna. You understood now? What about the others? I need individual responses. Quickly. I need individual responses from each and every student before I move to the simplification part of this. So another student is asking, sir, can't we remove this 2 by simply taking that 2 to the other side? So you all are having basic mathematical learning gaps. Huh? Listen. So before I move to the next question, I think clearing this doubt is better. Otherwise, even though you know the concept, you will lose marks. Listen. Let's say you have multiplications or divisions only on both right hand side and left hand side. For an example, you have 5x equals to 10. 5x කියන්නේ කවුද? 5 times x. This equals to 10. This is a product, no? This is a multiplication. Then you can directly take this 5 to the other side. X equals to 10 divided by 2 kilo. You can take, this is correct. Let's say you have x divided by 5 is equals to 2. You want to find the value of x. So you are going to, here see, this is a division. You can directly do the cross multiplication to the other side. X is equals to 2 times 5 kilo. You can take, this is correct. But this is important. Let's say you have 5x plus 1 is equals to 11. You cannot directly take this 5 to the other side with the cross multiplication. Why? This 5x is bonded with this 1 with a plus sign. Or it can be a minus sign. It can be a plus sign or as a minus sign. So in such case, Puta, first of all, you have to take this plus 1 to the other side as a minus 1. Then it will give 5x equals to 11 minus 1. So it will give 5x equals to 10. Now 5x equals to 10. Like this, you can simplify it. And if I give another example, listen carefully. You have 2y plus 3z is equals to, I'll take something similar to this one. I'll take like this. 2y plus 3 is equals to y divided by 2 plus 1, something like this. So let's say what your question is, can't we take this 2 directly to the other side and remove this? Can't. If you have only this y divided by 2 here on this right hand side, then you can directly take this 2 to the other side. So you get 2y plus 3. This entire expression will be multiplied by 2. This is equals to y kila ganna puluwan. This is correct. But let's say you have 2y plus 3 is equals to y divided by 2 and another number like this. In such case, you cannot directly take this into here into the other side because this 1 is bonded with this y plus 2. In such case, you have to, one way, the first method is, you can take the right hand side as a fraction. 1 can be written as 2 over 2. Take a common denominator and simplify, and then you can multiply the other side by 2. So you get 2y plus 3 is equals to y plus 2 divided by 2. I'm taking common denominator and simplifying. Now, if you do a cross multiplication, can you see 2y plus 3 multiplied by 2 is equals to y plus 2. Now remove the brackets and see 2y multiplied by 2 plus 3 times 2 is equals to y plus 2. Now actually what happened, observe this step. Huh? What did I do in our calculation? Since you all are just actually 1 month also. Since you all are 2 weeks before the exam only, I didn't try to mention these simple points. These are practices from grade 7, 8, 9. Na? So I thought you guys are knowing this Kila, but I can see a lot of students are not knowing this one, means you are in a very dangerous position. Learn today and Adim Pasi, don't forget it. Okay, after exam, if you want to forget, you can forget it. Hari, till exams, keep this in mind. What did I do? I did 2y plus 3 is equals to y over 2 plus 1. So I wanted to remove this 2. What did I do, Puta? I want to remove this 2. So y over 2, I wanted to remove this denominator 2. I multiplied with 2. But the thing is, you can't do that for this only this term. I did that for this term. And I did that for each and every term on the other side. So if I simplify this 2 and this 2, can you see 2y times 3? 2y times 2, 2. I multiplied all the terms by 2. This term plus 3 times 2, this term equals to y, this term, plus 1 times 2, 2, this term. So this process only I did like this. Your question for your answer is, if you have something like this, if it is a multiplication or a division, you can directly take. If it is an addition or a subtraction, you cannot take like this. You have to go for a simplification in first way or in the second way. Okay, in the first way or in the second way. Keep that in mind. Clear with that? Understood? Can I get a confirmation through the chat box? Those who had doubts from that part.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. All right. So we'll move to the simplification part. Now what they say, we derive the quadratic equation x square minus plus x minus 5, sorry, minus 4 is equals to 0. This is what we got. Minus 4 equals to 0. They wanted us to simplify this and get an answer for x. And the value they have given square root of 70, take it as 4.12. So they wanted us here appropriate solution for x by solving quadratic equation in using completing the square method. So I will use completing the square method here. I'm going to use a completing the square method, which is not directly given in your syllabus, but still this method is valid in your exams. But still this method is valid in your exams. Sorry, they will give you marks. Right. What I'm going to do, listen very carefully. Yeah? Listen very carefully. Keep your pens away. I'm going to explain this to you only once. Hari, one time of only once I'm going to explain it. If you lose the focus, then I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. Miss Suna, I'm going to tell you this only once. Huh? Right. If you want to complete the square, first condition you have to check is Puta, coefficient of x square term. Coefficient of x square term. If the coefficient of x square term is plus 1, if the coefficient of x square term is plus 1, then you can proceed with the completing the square method. If it is not, for an example, something like this. Let's say you have minus 2x square plus 2x minus 4 equals to 0. Here the coefficient of x square term is not plus 1. In such case, you have to convert this minus 2 to plus 1. In order to achieve that target, Puta, you can divide each term by the coefficient of this x term. 2x divided by minus 2, minus 4 divided by minus 2 equals to 0 divided by minus 2. So minus 2 and minus 2 can cancel. It will give you plus x square minus 1x plus 2 is equals to 0. It converts this quadratic equation to this point. So now you have the coefficient of x square term is plus 1. Now you can proceed with the completing the square method. Harida? Right. So keep that in mind. Huh? Now here, since we have the coefficient of x square term plus 1, you don't have to worry about the completing the square method. You can proceed with that. Listen carefully. X square plus x. First step is Puta, take this constant number to the other side of the equation. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I will proceed with a different approach. Listen now. That's the way you learn in syllabus. Ne? Yes, yeah. This is a different method, but it's easier than your syllabus method. Listen carefully. put a bracket. Mona unat kamanne, put the bracket and square the bracket. Listen now. Whatever happens, don't worry. Put the bracket, square the bracket. Put a bracket, square the bracket. Forget about this square. Directly write this x. Take the coefficient of x term, in this case plus 1 no puta. Coefficient of x term is plus, means just plus 1. Divide it by 2, you will get plus half. Plus 1 divided by 2 will give you plus half. Don't convert it to decimals. Plus half. Now, whatever happens, awulak ne loke peralunat, put a minus sign. Whatever happens, whatever the thing inside the bracket, don't worry about it. Whatever the condition they give you, don't worry about it. Whatever happens, put minus sign. Now, square the second term inside the bracket and write it here. Square the second term inside the bracket and write it here. Again, I'm going to repeat the number of steps that I did now. Listen carefully. Okay, I'm not going to rush through the process. I will slowly, in a very slow pace, I'm going to do it. Focus is the important thing. Put the bracket and square the bracket. Forget about the square, write x. Harida. Take the coefficient of x term, which is it's plus means plus 1. Divide it by 2. Plus 1 divided by 2 will give you plus half. If it is minus 1 divided by 2 will give you minus half. With the sign you have to take. Now, whatever happens inside the bracket, don't bother about it. It can be minus signs, it can be plus signs, whatever it is inside the bracket. Definitely you should put a minus sign here. Now, square this second term and write it. Half, when you square it, it will give you half into half, which is 1 over 4. So I'm going to write that 1 over 4 here. Now, without doing any changes, take this number here. Here we have minus 4. Directly take that minus 4 here equals to 0. Now simplify this fraction. Fraction simplification is grade 10 third lesson and grade 9 third lesson. We have minus 1 over 4 minus 4. Minus 4 means minus 4 over 1. We don't have a common denominator. I can take the common denominator by multiplying this denominator and numerator by 4. So common denominator is 4. Here we have minus 4. Here we have minus 16. Sorry. Here we have minus 1. Ne? Minus 1. Minus 4 into 4 equals to minus 16. This equals to minus 17 over 4. So here, if you simplify this part, you will get minus 17 over 4. X plus half square minus 17 over 4 is equals to 0. Take this one to the other side. So you will get x plus half square is equals to 17 over 4. Hurry. Now, after this step, put a traditional method. There are no any simple steps to do this. I'm going to consider the square root of both sides, x plus half, square root of it, and square root of it. If you consider the square root of both sides, consider plus or minus possibility, square root of 17 over 4. Square and square root I can cancel. X plus half is equals to plus or minus square root of 7. Square root of 4 is equals to 2. Take this plus half to the other side. X equals to plus or minus square root of 17 divided by 2 minus half. Consider the plus or minus possibilities. X equals to plus square root of 17 minus 1 over 2, or x equals to minus square root of 17 minus 1 over 2. Now tell me, what is this x? If you go back to the question, whose x? The breadth of the rectangle. Breadth is a length. Length cannot be a negative value. So the second answer I can remove, because minus 7 square root of 70 minus 1. This numerator is negative. The whole fraction is negative. So this cannot be possible. So I take x as square root of 17 minus 1 over 2. Now substitute the value of square root of 17, 4.12. 4.12 minus 1 over 2. Simplify, Puta, and give me the answer quickly. Simplify this and send me the answers in the chat box. quickly. 4.12 minus 1 is equals to 3.12 divided by 2 will give you 1.56. 1.56. And they want us to find the appropriate solution for x. Okay, x is equals to 1.56 in units. We don't know whether what sort of a unit is that, centimeters or meters or kilo. So you can just generally put as units. Okay. Right. So I'm going to solve the same question with the help of formula. Okay, in exams, they won't put any restrictions for you to solve the quadratic equation. Just use the completing the square, just use the formula killer. No, they will tell you by using the completing the square method or any method or any other method. So you have the chance, you have the opportunity to use the formula method. In exams, usually they phrase the question like that, using the formula or any other method killer, they will tell you. So if they tell you like that, you have to go with that. How do they play with that? Shall I move to the next part of the question, Puta? I need individual responses, please.
Okay, teacher.
What about
Okay,
the
sir.
others? I need. Right, you understood? I need responses in the chat box from the other students. I need individual responses quickly. Right. Okay, after the session, okay, not today itself. Okay, hope everyone in that O-level webinar group, okay, don't leave that group Puta, till the end of the series of webinars, because not only math seminar, science seminars are there, some other subject seminars are there. So you can get the benefit from these sessions. Okay, so since those are free sessions and we are providing you the tutor also for the relevant session. Okay, so please stay in that group. And in that group, I hope you will have, you are in that group. What's the group name, Puta? I don't know. Okay, because OL webinar group is there, and I hope everyone is in a group. So in that group, the resource people or as the organizing committee people will send you the marking scheme of this paper. Okay. So if you couldn't copy down the answers, if you couldn't write the answers, don't worry. I already sent you the question paper. Okay. I already sent you the question paper. So answer script, I will send it to you in that group through some through organizers. Okay. So you will get the answer script there. So you can go through that and you can complete the works. For the moment, listen to the discussion, understand the concept, and grab the idea. Okay. So you don't have to rush to write every answer. Just listen carefully, take a short note in your own words concisely, and later on, you can go through the answer script. So today, or not today itself, I'm going to send it. I will send it by tomorrow evening or day after tomorrow morning, because these days I'm packed with some of the webinars. Okay, right. So next part, I'm going to solve the same quadratic equation using the formula. What is our quadratic equation? X square plus x minus 4 equals to 0. Puta, this formula you should remember, okay? Formula of a solutions of quadratic equation of x. Formula to find the solutions of a quadratic equation of x is given by x equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This formula, Puta, you should remember. They won't give you in exams. So you have to identify who's A, who's B, and who's C in our quadratic equation. A means, always remember, coefficient of x square term. In this case, nothing means plus 1. B means coefficient of x term. In this case, plus 1. C means coefficient, this constant number, which is minus 4, not just 4, minus 4. Now substitute the values. X equals to This minus sign came by default, so you have to write it. B is +1, so I'm going to substitute +1 instead of B. Plus or minus square root. Again, B is +1 square. By default, this minus sign is there, minus 4 times. A is again +1. C is -4. C is -4. So this is equals to x equals to -1 plus or minus, sorry, I forgot about the denominator, divided by 2 times coefficient of x square term is 1, a. Simplify this. X equals to -1 plus or minus square root of. Simplify inside the square root and write Putha. We have 1 square is equals to 1. -4 times -4 will give you +16. So 1 plus 16 is equals to 17. Divided by 2. 2 times 1 equals to 2, no? 2. So now what I'm going to do is take the possibilities. X equals to -1 plus square root of 17 over 2, or x equals to -1 minus square root of 17 over 2. X cannot be negative because it's the breadth of a rectangle. So I'm going to take this positive possibility. So therefore, x equals to -1 plus square root of 17 over 2. Now, Putha, you can substitute the value of square root of 17 and do the simplification like this. Okay, so I'm going to do that. -1 plus 17 means plus square root of 17. Square root of 17 is equals to 4.12 minus 1 over 2. If you simplify this, you get 1.56 units. If it is in centimeters, you have to write centimeters. Okay, so I saw the question using both completing the square method than this method. And some of the students are not in the group. Some of the students are not in the group. If there is anyone from the organizing committee, can you please send the registration form link in the chat box if possible, please? So they can fill that form and join the group, inshallah. So the session will go till 9:15. Okay, session will go till 9:15. Right. So the registration link will be shared with you in the chat box. So you can copy that link and keep it with you. Later, you can register through that link and then you can join the group. Hari? So those who are not in the group, you can join the group by filling that form. Right. So we'll move to the next question. It's a geometry question. So the most complex part according to the student's point of view. Okay. And most important part also in the syllabus. If anyone, this is a warning. If anyone is planning on skipping geometry part in your syllabus, remember you have to forget about your A pass. Sometimes even B pass. Why? From your entire paper, from part 1, part 2, both, final impact from out of 100, final impact from this geometry part is Putha 23%. It means out of 100 marks, 23 marks, approximately 25 marks allocated for geometry. If it is 23 marks, if you are skipping geometry, you have to score out of 77 marks. Harida, if you are scoring out of 77 marks, if you want an A pass, 77 out of 77 now you have to take. Except for geometry, all the other questions must be correct. Otherwise, you don't have the A pass. So, Putha, if you all are planning to skip geometry, remember that you all are not going to get an A pass, or sometimes even worse, you can't get a B pass. Geometry skip karot, you can't get. I don't know how many of you all know how they have allocated marks kilo, okay? In your syllabus for numbers, algebra, and measurements, for these 3 areas, they have allocated 58 marks from the paper. Hare, 58 marks from the paper approximately. And then set statistics and probability. Statistics means put a data representation, frequency distribution, that part, and probability part. From these three sections, or if actually we can consider two sections, sets, stat and probability together as two sections. So this part, Puta, they have allocated around 20 marks. Harada? Approximately 20 marks. So for geometry, 22 marks approximately. Sometimes it might go up to 23 marks. Okay, this is how the marks categorization. For numbers part, if you take only the numbers part, 23 marks. Okay, only the numbers part, 23 marks. So what are numbers lessons, Puta? Under numbers, logarithms, fractions. Okay, and then yeah, numbers part, logarithms, fractions. Those lessons fall under numbers lessons. Logarithm, fractions, and then percentages, inverse proportions. Okay, and then if you take square root, okay, progressions, those lessons comes under share market. Those lessons fall under this progressions numbers part, real numbers, right? If you take algebra, graph, simultaneous equations, matrices, and then what else? Algebraic fractions, least common multiple of algebraic expressions, algebraic inequalities, quadratic expressions, factors of quadratic expressions, binomial expressions, cube of binomial expressions, square of binomial expressions. Those lessons fall under this algebra part. Measurements, area, perimeter, volume, trigonometry. Okay, and then yeah, basically those lessons fall under measurements part. Set and probability, I don't have to point out, no, sets lesson and probability lesson, and then frequency distributions lesson. That sigma fx divided by sigma f, you are preparing the table, that lesson from grade 10. And then histogram, cumulative frequency curve, that lesson. From all those things, out of 120 marks allocated in the paper, including short questions and essay questions, structure essay all together, I'm saying. Geometry, 8 short questions are there. No structured essay question, 3 essay questions are there. 3 essay questions. Out of 3 essay questions, definitely you have to answer 2 essay questions, including constructions. Including construction. Construction also fall under geometry. Okay. So if anyone didn't know this before, now learn. So Puta, if you are planning to skip the parts, be very careful. What are the parts that you are going to skip here? Because if you take geometry, geometry atarina 22 marks, no. So out of 78 marks, you have to score. Sometimes it's go up to 23 marks. So out of 77, you have to score. Okay, if you are scoring out of 77, then you have to face all these lessons. All these lessons. Set, statistics, probability, measurements, algebra, numbers, all lessons. Okay, it's not an easy task. So try to do geometry also together. Hari? Construction fall under geometry only. Right. Now, here, in the figure, listen carefully. Usually, students find geometry questions complex. Okay, students find geometry questions complex because they don't know how to see through the figure, or else they are lazy to see through the figure. So it's easy. I hope everyone watching Avengers, okay, have watched Avengers maybe. Avengers, hari, or a sci-fi movie. Any sci-fi movie, if you take, the most common technology they use is holograms. What is a hologram? Rather than using a physical computer like we use, in movies, there's a fictional computer, right? So from hand, they can take the screen to the space, empty space, and then they can touch the screen. Apple Vision Pro, there's something like that, no? So that's what we call a hologram. Then you are going to do that something, you do something like that here. Okay, you have to use your imagination skill, right? If you want to solve a geometry question effectively, from this big figure given in the question, you should be able to segregate or separate the part of the figure that you need to solve at that moment. Beforehand that, you have to read the question carefully and identify what are the data in the given figure. Listen, focus on this pencil mark and focus, listen to my voice carefully, and simultaneously you have to observe both. My words, you have to listen. While you are listening, you have to observe this pencil. Clear? Listen, now. In the figure, PQRS is a cyclic quadrilateral. PQRS is a cyclic quadrilateral. So when you read that part, you should quickly recall the theorems related to cyclic quadrilaterals. In your syllabus, only 2 theorems are there. In your syllabus, only 2 theorems are there. If you take a circle, and let's say you have a quadrilateral like this, which is touching all 4 vertices are on one single circle. So this is a cyclic quadrilateral. The first theorem is, if I take these opposite angles as x and y, first theorem is, Puta, opposite angles are supplementary. Supplementary kila kiyanne, if you add these angles x and y, it should add up to 180 degrees. That's what we call opposite angles are supplementary. Opposite angles are supplementary. Harida? Right. It applies for other sides also. If I take this as Q and R, Q angle and R angle will add up to 180. If it is a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. So what is the converse of it? What is the converse of it? If opposite angles are supplementary in a quadrilateral, definitely that quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. If opposite angles are supplementary in a quadrilateral, that quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. Hari? Right. What's the second theorem? Let's say in a circle, you have a quadrilateral like this. And by producing one side, you make an exterior angle. This is the so formed exterior angle. So let's take that exterior angle as x. If you, by producing a side of a cyclic quadrilateral, the so formed exterior angle is equals to interior opposite angle, which means this one is x. Exterior angle is equals to interior opposite angle. Exterior angle is equals to interior opposite angle in a cyclic quadrilateral. So this is the next theorem. Okay, all right. So maybe we have to use one of those theorems in this question. So I just revised you the theorem. Maybe we have to use it. Right. If you read cyclic quadrilateral, quickly those 2 theorems should pop up into your mind. Right. Produced SR. Observe where you have SR. Here we have SR. Produced SR and PQ. This is PQ. It's produced. Produced means extended. And those 2 meets at point capital T. Listen. And then they say that PR equals to PS equals to RT. PR equals to PS equals to this RT. This PR equals to this PS. It's equals to this RT also. Show by giving reasons. PSR is equals PSR bisected by QS. PSR angle. Where's PSR angle? PSR angle this one is bisected by this QS. Bisected by QS. PSR bisected by QS means, Puta, they want us to find it, or they want us to prove that these 2 angles are equal kiyala. Bisecting an angle means dividing an angle into 2 equal parts. 2 equal parts. So if you can prove that this angle is equals to this angle, then you can say this PSR angle is bisected by this QS scalar. PSR angle is bisected by QS scalar. Right. Now how we are going to do that? How we are going to do that? Listen very carefully. You can go with the letters given in the figure, or else you can introduce a letter, one single algebraic term, and you can make your simplifications easy. You can make your simplifications easy. So here, see, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, here, see, I can equal sides. No, I can see equal sides. I can see equal sides. So what I'm going to do is, let, okay, I'm going to introduce a letter. Let TRP T, so not TR, but T, P, R angle. So when I name an angle like this, you should observe where I have that angle in this given figure. T, P, R. I'm taking this angle, Puta. Okay. I'm taking that angle as, or as I write like this, let TPR angle equals to X. You can take any letter. I'm just taking that as X. So I will mark that on the figure also. I will make it as X. This is X. Right. Now, in using this X only, mamme game එක ගහන්න යන්නේ. Using this X only, this entire game I'm going to do. Listen now. Listen. So this TPR angle is X now. If you consider TRP triangle, consider TRP triangle. I'm considering this triangle. Now listen very carefully. I'm not going to rush through the process. I'm taking a very slow pace, but I'm taking a slow pace. I can't explain this question once again because we have lack of time. So I recommend you all to not to write, listen carefully and understand the concept. Because in geometry questions, while I'm teaching, if you write Puta, you will lose the concentration. You will not be able to understand or identify the notations. Okay, because step by step, this figure is going to get complex. Okay, so if you lose the focus, you won't understand. At the end of the question, this entire figure will become a light to a right. So if you consider this TRP triangle, we can see TR side is equals to RP. Here, this here PR side is equals to RT is given here. PR side is equals to RT. I'll write it like this. PR side is equals to RT. So these two sides are equal. It's given in data. So if it's given in data, write it as data. And if two sides are equal in a triangle, angles opposite to the equal sides are equal. Therefore, this angle is also X. Neither. This angle is also X. Therefore, I can say, therefore, RTP angle is also equals to X. Why? Angles opposite to the equal sides. Okay. So this one is also X. This one is also X. So if this one is X, Puta, what can you tell about this angle? Tell me what should be the value of this angle in terms of X? Can someone unmute and tell me?
2x.
It should be
2x.
It should be 2x. It should be 2x. Very good. It should be 2x. Why? Exterior angle of a triangle is equals to the sum of interior opposite angles. So I can write PRS angle. I'm considering still TRP triangle. PRS angle is equals to X plus X is equals to 2x. Exterior angle. You just concisely write the reason. If you want, you can write the reason more clearly. Exterior angle of a triangle is equals to sum of interior opposite angles scalar. But you don't have to do that because you when someone referring to these steps, they know that you understood the concept scalar. Right. So you better mark that data in the figure also. You better copy down, you must copy down the figure in to your answer scripts. Otherwise, when you do geometry questions, you will be in a very difficult position when you're solving the remaining parts. Okay, right. So now if this is 2x, can you guys please tell me what should be the value of this entire big angle?
2x. 2x.
2x.
That one is also 2x. What's the reason? Because PRS is an isosceles triangle, no? If two sides are equal, angles opposite to the equal sides are equal. So now consider PRS triangle. Puta, see how I'm managing the steps to write the answer. Okay? These steps, these logical steps you have to write. This is what we call answer writing kila. You have to plan your steps and do. Planning the steps and solving the question is the most complex part in your in the paper. Otherwise, Paper won't be hard. Question is not hard. Planning. Okay. So I'm going to consider the PRS triangle. We know that PR is equals to PS. It's given in data. PR side is equals to PS. It's given in data. Hurry, it's given in data. Therefore, I can say this PSR angle also equals to 2x. PSR angle also equals to 2x. PSR angle also equals to 2x. Right. So you identify that this big angle is equals to 2x. So now question is to prove that QX is an angle bisector. So your target is to prove that this 2x is dividing into x and x2 equal parts scalar. X and x2 equal parts scalar. Okay. In order to do that, you have to go with another theorem related to cyclic quadrilaterals. Listen, what is the theorem that you can use here? What is the theorem that you can use here?
So angle in same segment. Angle.
Angle in the, sorry, not related to cyclic quadrilateral, angles on the same segment theorem. Sorry, yeah. What is the theorem? Angles on the same segment are equal. Why? Here see. QR minor arc. From this QR minor arc, on the same segment, we have this X angle and we have this small angle. Right? Angles on the same segment. So I can say, but here, but QPR angle is equals to what's the other angle? QSR. Therefore, both of them are equals to X, Y, angles on the same segment. Angles on the same segment. Therefore, I can say, if this angle is X, then the other small angle also must be equals to XY. The entire angle is 2X. So I can say, therefore, PSQ angle also equals to X. Therefore, PSQ angle is also equals to X. What is the reason? Because of, this is the notation of because of, this entire PSR angle is a combination of QSR and PSQ. You see? QSR angle, this angle, plus PSQ, this angle. When you add those two angles, you will get this big PSR. So that's why this PSQ angle also must be equals to X. So therefore, I can say, therefore, here you prove that these two portions are equal. That's what we wanted. Therefore, I can say this QS bisect this PSR angle. Therefore, QS bisects PSR. This is the answer for the first question. This logical reasoning must be there. Okay. So you don't have to worry. Quickly read this part with the figure. Okay, I'll show you part by part. Grab the idea to your mind before I move to the next part, because geometry right. Quickly confirm it through the chat box whether you all understood up to this point, Kila. Clearly? Clear with that? I need individual responses, Puta. I need individual responses from everyone, now. Clear with that? Understood? Perfect. All right. Superb. Right. So we'll move to the next part. Now what they say, PSQ triangle congruent to QRT triangle. PSQ. Listen, now I'm going to erase erase these annotations. Okay, I'm going to erase these annotations because I want to mark the data, mark the other data. So I will just keep the X and relevant notations. So we proved we have taken this X. So with the help of this one, we have taken this as X. So with the help of these two, we prove that this is 2X. So with the help of this 2X, we prove that this entire big angle is 2X. And it's bisected by this QS. Therefore, this is X and this is also X. So this is what we proved so far, right? Now they want us to prove PSQ triangle. Where's PSQ triangle? When you read that part, check that here. PSQ triangle means this one is equals to QRT. QRT. This is QRT. Here we have PSQ. Here we have QRT. You have to take these two triangles and check. So if you can't directly see the figure, see the data in this complete figure, I recommend you all to separately take those two triangles only. I'm taking, here we have QRT, here we have Q, here we have T, here we have R. And this angle we have taken it as X. And then PQS. PQS. PQS is like this. Here Q, here P, here we have S. Right. So here we have taken this, we proved that this angle is X. And what else, what is equal, Putha? This side is equals to this side. It's given in data. PS side is equals to RT side is given in data. So we have X, one angle and a side of this triangle equal. We can't tell anything. We can't say anything related to the other sides because we don't have enough data in this given figure. So I recommend you all to go with the angles. Check with the angles. If we have equal angles, we can go with that. So you can use angle side. So check and tell me in these two triangles, what is the next angle that can be equal? What is the next angle?
TRQ, SPQ,
SPQ and
TRQ.
TRQ. Why? What is the reason? Good.
Exterior angle equal to interior opposite angle.
Superb. Really good. Superb. Here's the Putha. In a cyclic quadrilateral, exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral, you see, is equals to interior opposite angle, this one. So if I mark those two angles in this separated figure, this is the exterior angle. It's equals to interior opposite angle, this one. You see, QRT angle is equals to QPS angle. So can you see, two angles and a side of a triangle is equals to two angles and a side of another triangle. So two angles and a side of a triangle is equals to two angles and a corresponding side of another triangle. These two triangles are congruent in the case of congruency. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. So you have to write that properly. In PSQ triangle and QRT triangle, we can see PS equals to RT, it's given in data. And then QTR angle is equals to PSQ angle. This PSQ angle is equals to QTR angle. Putha, that one actually we proved it. We proved it. Now this one QRT angle is equals to QPS angle. Why these two angles are equal? Exterior angle equal to interior opposite angle of PQRS cyclic quadrilateral. PQRS cyclic, you better be precise, quadrilateral. Right. So therefore, I can say, I will write the last step here. Therefore, PSQ triangle is congruent to QRT triangle in the case of congruency angle side. So this is what how you have to prove. Clear? Fine. Shall we move to the last part of this question? Clear? Understood? I need individual responses, Puta. Quickly.
Yes, teacher.
All right, great. Okay. So keep your energy and work. Huh? Keep your energy and work. We'll continue the session for another 5 to 10 minutes. All right. So the last part. If QTR angle is equals to 30, Puta, what is QTR? QTR? It's X, no? It's X. They want us to prove that QS is a diameter. Puta, this is actually a question related to angles on a semicircle. Here, see. Here, see, yeah. In this circle, here we have QS. Here we have QS. They want to prove that this QS is a diameter. They want to prove that QS is a diameter. So can you see from this QS, we have two angles subtended on the circle like this here, QPS, and we have another angle subtended here, QRS. If you can prove QPS or QRS equals to 90 degrees, at least one of them, 90 degrees, you can say QS is a diameter. Why? Angles on a semicircle is equals to 90. So a circle becomes a semicircle with the semicircle by dividing along the diameter. Neither. So my target is to prove this one or this one as 90. Right. So take this QRT triangle and try to find the value of this one. Yeah, you can use this angle, no? Right. So check and tell me which angle we can use in order to prove this is a right angle triangle, Puta. We can use this angle, no? How?
Yeah.
Consider this PRS triangle. Consider this PRS triangle, no? This one. Consider this PRS triangle. This is just a thinking. Huh? Consider this is the answer. PRS triangle. If I consider PRS triangle, can you see? We proved that this is P, this is R, this is S. We prove that this is 2x, this one is also 2x. So I can calculate this angle, no? Why? RPS angle plus 2x should add up to 180. Why? Sum of interior angles of a triangle will add up to 180. Hurry. So RPS angle is equals to 180 minus 4x. RPS is equals to 180 minus 4x. RPX is equals to 180 minus 4x. So we have this one, 180 minus 4x. 180 minus 4x. Harada? 180 minus 4x. So which makes this QPS angle, Therefore, QPS angle is equals to this 180 minus 4x plus this x. So 180 minus 4x plus x will add up to 180 minus 3x. But they say that let that x equals to 30. In our case, QTR. Okay. So since QTR angle is equals to x and they wanted us to take it as 30, I can substitute that value here. QPS angle is equals to 180 minus 3 times 30, which gives you 180 minus 90 equals to 90. Therefore, Puta, we proved that this big angle is equals to 90. If it is 90, definitely QS is a diameter. Therefore, I can say QS is the diameter of the circle. What is the reason? Angle on the semicircle is 90 degrees. That's the reason. That is the reason. Clear with that? Understood? Fine. Hope you all benefited this one from this session. So stay tuned for more sessions like this through this program, Puta. Really talented lecturers are there. So they are day-to-day engaging with the subject. Okay, they know the proper content. They know the areas where you can get evaluated. Okay, so participate all seminars that we are conducting through this Mission Cordoba program. And very big thanks for the students who stayed till the end of the session with me. And thank you very much for the organizing committee, organizing such an event for the students. And this is a great opportunity for me as well. Okay, so hope you guys benefited. Guys, you all have, you all also please thank the organizing committee, because if it is not for them, if it is not, if it is not them, then no one is going to schedule something like this. Ne? So it's a great opportunity for you. So send your thanks to them as well. Hari. So please send your feedbacks in the chat box, and then you all can leave. And this paper, once again, this PDF file and its answer, I will send it to you in a day or 2 days through the group. Okay.